Hello, people. This is me, Matt here with... Come on, you stupid piece of shit phone. Again with the Crockpot Broccoli channel. And this here is a 54 caliber flintlock InvestArm's Bridger Hawken kit build. You can tell this isn't a factory gun. Obviously, we have a brown barrel. Original oil finish stock. In retrospect, I kind of wish I had used Aquafortis reagent in that stock, but in any event, worked out fine. Patinaed the brass with birchwood brass black. The browning finish is Dangler's browning finish, available from Track of the Wolf. The stain on the wood is Minwax Early American. And that's built up probably 20 coats of literally a combination, a mix of tried and true varnish oil and boiled linseed. So yeah, I've had this thing for well over a year now, and just finally got it done over the past weekend. And I think it came out pretty nice, and I'm just going to offer some thoughts on it. So, I took it shooting today after work, and I discovered this lock is a piece of shit, to be quite honest. And, you know, from the outset when I got this thing, I knew that this was not going to be very good. But I'll give an overview of the gun first. I went over the finishes. You can see, and here's another thing that's kind of weird. These small wood screws for the escutcheon plates, and these larger ones for the patch box, they're silver. Well, that's because I chucked them into a drill and I sanded off the bluing on the outside of them so that I could, brown them like the barrel and the other screws and what have you. Well, they wouldn't take a brown. So I put a magnet to them. Well, they're not magnetic. Whatever these screws are made from is not a ferrous metal, which is kind of strange. Gun screws that are made from a non-ferrous metal. Probably aluminum or zinc or some cheap shit. Okay. There's that. Another thing I noticed. There's a bit of play in the rear sight blade. It's not horrible. It doesn't really impinge upon the accuracy of the gun, but it's something to consider. Go through the rest of it. Again, this was a kit build, so I finished it off. I did the wood carving. I think I did a damn fine job on that cheek piece, if I don't say so myself. Did all the edge work there. This was really chunky, so I took it down considerably. I have kind of small hands, so, I want a nice, slender stock, and I think I accomplished that fairly well. One thing to note as well, if you look at the listing for this kit on muzzleloaders.com, well, muzzle-loaders.com, they say on the thing that it is a walnut stock. They show pictures of a rifle with a walnut stock. This is not walnut. This is not low-quality wood, but it is not walnut. This is European beech, which is a perfectly suitable wood for any sort of firearm, but it ain't walnut. They say it's walnut. They show walnut in the pictures. It ain't walnut. It's beech. So be advised. Anyway, all in all, came out fairly well. It's a pretty accurate rifle. The double set triggers are pretty nice and crisp. Got an adjustment screw down there if I ever want to tinker with that. But having shot it, they're really not that bad. So, I have that mostly threaded out. This thing is my main gripe about this gun. So, can you see it? Because I certainly can. A coil spring in a flintlock. That's not proper. That is completely historically inaccurate. And honestly, I think this style of lock with the coil spring as the mainspring instead of a big flat V-spring that would be on historical guns, I think that would be fine on a percussion gun. But it don't work for shit on a flintlock. This thing, I mean, I had it at the ranch today, and this is a quality English flint. That's not... Sorry for this abysmal camera. I have a new phone coming tomorrow. But that is a quality English knapped flint. That's not the little translucent synthetic thing that came with it. That's not a flint. It's some sort of synthetic stone that's supposed to approximate a flint, but produced 0 sparks out of that lock. So I put a real flint on it, and it produces some sparks. But not enough sparks to reliably ignite the thing. I have Indian flintlocks, which are, Bombay pipe bombs, according to FUD lore, that have better locks on them than this Italian-made Hawken. So let that sink in. That $350 Indian flintlock has a better lock on it than this $600 Italian Hawken. The frizzen doesn't spark. The geometry appears to be all wrong. As I said, I think this lock plate is set up to be a percussion lock. I don't see any problem with this as a percussion lock. But this modern shit doesn't work for flint. It just doesn't. Not reliably, at least. So. Oh, yeah. It rotated on you. Sorry about that. This phone's a piece of shit. Anyway. So, what I'm probably going to do is go on Track of the Wolf. They sell an L&R lock company replacement for this cheesy piece of crap that actually, has proper historically correct springs, proper geometry from the cock to the frizzen, all critical things. This also, it's a very small lock for a rifle, honestly. The pan has, no powder capacity whatsoever. So even, I had several flashes in the pan with no ignition. So, I'm using 2F charge, 2F in the pan, right? I don't fuck around with fine grit shit. It just, that's how they did it back in the day, that's how I do it. Historically accurate. So, I'm going to be getting the L&R replacement lock. It's $245. I think it's $245 well spent. I got this as a hunting rifle. I'll be taking it out into the woods and hunting deer with it this fall. And I just, this lock is just not nearly reliable enough, in my opinion, to take out to the woods and trust to bag a deer with. Because I maybe fired 20 shots today, maybe. And I probably actuated the lock about 50 times. So, I mean, take that as a ratio. And it was mostly click, no bang, click, no poof. There were a couple flashes in the pan with no ignition of the primary charge. And the rest were proper fires. But, I mean, it was a greater than 50% rate of misfire. So, as I said, I have Indian guns that are more reliable than that. So, yeah, I'll spend the extra $250 plus shipping, and I'll get a reliable lock for it and brown that up, and that should get me a nice reliable Hawken for the woods. Nice reliable, good-looking Hawken too, by the way. I did a good job in that cheek piece. It looks damn spiffy, if I don't say so myself. Not a bad-looking gun. Good shooting gun. Very accurate when, you know, this lock actually succeeds in making it go off. But, yeah. So that is my InvestArm Hawken. Have a good one.